Alright, Arrow fans, it's time for the final episode of Review the Day, which is Public Enemy. The episode begins with a news report of the mayor having been killed and Palmer in critical condition. Lance says he's issued a murder warrant for the Arrow. Oliver tells Diggle he knows that Maceo was responsible for the attack. We go to a flashback of Queen and Akio still running for their lives in the street. They run into Shadow's twin sister May, and Oliver asks her for help. Laurel tries to convince her father to trust her that the Arrow is being framed. He wants her to tell him the Arrow's true identity. Post-6, Roy and Thea discuss running away together. Roy spots the newscast. Felicity says bye Palmer in the hospital. He wakes up and the doctor comes to tell him the Arrow created a blood clot in his brain. The prognosis isn't good. Palmer tells him about nanotech he's invented that when injected into the blood will travel to the clot and shrink it. The doctor says he can help him with anything experimental because of hospital policy. Felicity's mother, Donna, shows up. Oliver meets Unisa Al Ghul and asks for her help. She says she won't betray her father, so Queen brings up Sarah. She gives up a location of a building the League has been using as a staging ground. The Arrow team go there and does battle with the team led by Maceo. Arrow gets a jump on Maceo but does not kill him. Rasher Ghul shows up and tells the Arrow he has two choices. Replace him as Rasher or spend the rest of his life in prison. At this moment, police helicopters arrive overhead. Team Arrow runs away and manages to escape with help from Diggle, who is positioned above with a sniper rifle. In the process, Roy injures several cops and this helps Laurel when she's cornered by her father. Back at the Arrow cave, Arrow speaks over the phone with an angry Lance. He wants Arrow to turn himself in. Queen apologizes for putting them in this position, but Thea thinks that Malcolm is to blame. Back in the flashback, we learn Shadow's sister's name, May. He says he met her sister in medical school. May tells him her father and sister disappeared 3 years ago. She's holding out hope that the police have told her they must be dead. Donald thinks Felicity needs to be the person to inject Palmer. She's scared of taking the chance, but Donna doesn't think there is a choice. Raish brings Lance to see him. He tells her about Sarah being on the island and tells him Oliver Queen is the Arrow. Lance meets Laurel, who thinks her father's doing this because of Sarah. Lance thinks the Arrow is the reason Sarah was killed. He tells her she hadn't been on the boat with Oliver, she never have ended up in the League. Donna fakes a back spasm to create a distraction to keep the doctor occupied, so Felicity can inject Palmer with the nanotech. Roy tells Thea that when he shot the cops at Arrows, part of him felt relieved that he finally might go to jail where he belongs. Oliver apologizes to Roy, moments after the police break down the doors and Oliver takes off. The doctor shows Felicity Ray's MRI scan, which reveals Palmer's brain clot has completely disappeared. Meanwhile, Oliver goes to Diggle's place. They watch a televised press conference. Lance tells the city that police are hunting for the vigilante Oliver Queen. Laura, Felicity, and Roy show up and they discuss a plan. These assets have been frozen and Lance is watching every possible exit from the town. Oliver knows this is Raish's plan. In the flashback, May figures out that Oliver knows more about her sister than he's let on. She says she's called the police. Two armed men break into the home through the windows. Oliver tries to fight them off, but ends up looking at the end of a rifle. At the last moment, Maceo and Tatsu rush in and save the day. Palmer's recovering well and is thankful for Felicity's help, so much so that he tells Felicity he loves her. Felicity goes in the waiting room and confesses to Donna that she's not sure why she doesn't love Palmer. Donna guesses the reason is that she still loves Oliver. She thinks her daughter needs to make a choice. Oliver turns himself in at the police station. After he's placed in custody, Laurel gets Diggle, Roy, and Felicity 10 minutes with him in the interrogation room. She tells him she's pushing for a deal where they all get immunity if he goes to prison. They're willing to accept that scenario. He wants them to follow him until it's over. In the flashback, Oliver asks for a few minutes alone with May. He tells her that Shadow is dead, to which she's thankful for the information. Back at RHQ, the team tries to figure out their next move. On the way to prison, Lance sits in the back of a paddy wagon with Oliver. He fairly asks him about Sarah, Tommy, and all the other people who have died. Oliver tries to assure him he never wanted anyone to be involved and that he wanted to save the city. Lance tells him, "You, Mr. Queen, are not a hero. You're a villain." At this moment, Roy lands on the roof of the vehicle. He tells the officers that they have the wrong man. Oliver Queen isn't the Arrow. I am. Ooh, well. Oh, nice one, Roy. Nice one. Anyway, So let's take a look at some trivia surrounding this episode. This is the first episode where Roy Harper dons the arrow suit. And now finally, let's take a look at some goofs. As Oliver enters the police station to turn himself in, the first cop who notices him draws his pistol twice. The first time was when the camera POV is on Oliver's backside, and the second is with the POV on Oliver's face. When Felicity is watching the news on the warrants for the arrow, the headline ticker says, Oliver Queen returns to Starling City to disapproving crowds. A goof that is most likely derived from the episode Identity. Captain Lance issues an arrest warrant for Oliver following the recent murders by the Arrow. However, given that Rage told Lance Oliver was the Arrow with no solo proof, Captain Lance should not have been able to issue an arrest warrant, let alone doing so without concrete evidence. When Ray is in the hospital, his cardiac monitor shows the lethal rhythm of ventricular tachycardia. Ugh, that's not good. So overall, I think this episode is very tense and emotional with everything going on with Oliver and stuff like that, and lying to himself in and blah blah blah. So yeah. So overall, I give Public Enemy 5 arrowheads out of 5. Anyway, tune in on Fridays so we take a look at the next episode, Broken Arrow. So until then, in the words of Oliver Queen, you have failed this city.